Hello, everyone. We are so glad that you're here with us. If you enjoy this episode, please rate, review, and share it so that we can reach more ECEs and childcare workers. My name is Rachel Neville, and I will be your host today. Today, we are so excited to welcome two members of the Ontario Mentorship Collaborative, Pam Rennie and Barb Brown. Pam is currently the chair of the Ontario Mentorship Collaborative. Pam has utilized their ECE training in a variety of ways over 40 years and now works for the District of Muskoka as the Manager of Workforce Development and Innovation for the Early Learning and Childcare community. Pam was drawn to the OMC a year and a half ago because they see the value of mentorship as a key tool to utilize in the retention of staff. And Barb was a past chair of the Ontario Mentorship Collaborative and is a registered early childhood educator with many years in the profession and in a variety of roles. For the past 10 years, she has been the executive director of Connections Early Years Family Center and responsible for the Windsor-Essex Registered Early Childhood Educators Mentorship Initiative for the Windsor-Essex Service System Manager. Thank you so much for joining us, Pam and Barb. We're so happy to have you. So let's dive in. I'm not sure how many of our listeners will really be aware of the Mentorship Collaborative, the OMC, we can call it going forward for brevity's sake. So I'm curious if you could share sort of how did the group begin and your involvement with the group?
So, the full name of the group is the Ontario Mentorship Collaborative for Early Learning Professionals. But it is a mouthful, so we do definitely refer to it as OMC. It began very grassroots. It was just a discussion and sharing between two regions, Windsor and the York region. We were both piloting mentorship initiatives in our communities back when there was workforce funding initiatives. And we started discussing approaches and observations in each of our own mentorship programs, recognizing the impact that the program was having on our individual RECEs and our local workforce. And we were really quite impressed with the impact it was having. So over time, we just kept talking and coming up with creative ideas for our programs, but we became aware that there were other communities across Ontario that were also considering starting mentorship programs or initiatives. So we extended invitations to join our conversation, becoming essentially a community of practice. When discussions began around hosting a symposium, because we were so thrilled. We just wanted to share. We thought it was good to actually formalize ourselves a little bit more. So we created the Ontario Mentorship Collaborative for early years professionals, and that's how it began.
That's awesome. It's so cool when, ECEs and early years folks can kind of use their creativity in ways that also build that ECE community. Because I feel like a lot of times ECEs use that creativity in program with their children and activities and all these amazing ways. But to be able to also channel that into mentorship is so cool.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And I think too, grateful that Barb sort of started that initiative and working within this sector. It's a sector that is really grounded in relationships, the relationships we have with children, and the relationships we have with our colleagues as well. So the ability to initiate this kind of collaborative was brilliant on Barb's part. And it just then naturally, because it's sort of the nature of the sector, just spread and grew, and more memberships, members became involved.
Yeah, that's so cool. This question is not in our outline, but I'm curious, how your group sort of defined mentorship and how that sort of perhaps evolved over time, or who was involved in sort of setting that common, common understanding.
That's the funny thing. It wasn't that we set out to define mentorship.
Mhm.
Hmm.
We really just wanted to recognize that under this umbrella of mentorship, there is a community of care for each other
Mhm.
and for support. And
Mhm.
however that looks in your community and how you're holding each other up, whether that's peer mentorship or where it's reciprocated or the traditional model, there's value in all of those different definitions,
Hmm.
perhaps. But I think generally speaking, I think um, we believe that mentorship's essential and it's our focus. Our intent is to foster that professional growth, enhance the quality, facilitate the successful induction of new RECEs, new educators, improve staff retention. So we really focus more on sharing best practices, resources, research on advancing mentoring, and all of that is grounded in the care of each other.
Mhm.
Um,
Hmm.
Our intent is not to define mentorship,
Hmm.
and recognizing that it takes different forms based on where educators are on their journey of their profession. It is influenced by the size of communities that people are involved in. And as Barb mentioned, it really dependent on um, capacity and whether it's a new REC coming in, or somebody that's wanting to become a supervisor, or maybe somebody that's branching more into the advocacy policy side of things. So it ebbs and flows with the nature of the learning that we want to see, in the reciprocal relationship. And it really is that relationship that's the most important, which is really what grounds the mentorship. It's the relationship that's created and the trust that's formed between those that are working through their mentorship program.
yeah, and it really does a nice job of that scaffolding learning,
Hmm.
that is central to belonging and engagement, expression. Like think of our pedagogy, right, and our
Right.
well-being. It is a responsive and engaging way of approaching professional learning. Instead of just somebody sitting and, talking to you, you're engaged. And
Yeah.
however that looks for your growth and your learning and your
Hmm.
professional practice, you have someone there to guide you or to support you in that journey.
Yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of folks probably their most formalized mentorship experience in EC is pre-service when they're in their placements. So it sounds like, once people get out into the sector, there's not always that more formal structure or even informal, really. Like you might have somebody that you look up to at work, but perhaps it's not necessarily established that that's sort of a mentoring relationship. So it sounds like your group is very much a hub for like whatever mentorship is looking like to whatever kind of person, which is really cool.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's really nice to have that sharing of ideas across the province, that cross-pollinating, because what's worked for one may not work for another, but it'll spark an idea that'll create something new that'll work for somebody else.
Hmm.
So I think it's just as educators, it's who we are as far as ongoing learners
Hmm.
Mhm.
and creative people that, as Barb indicated, just like we're using the How Does Learning Happen for the children and creating those environments that are engaging, and where everybody feels a sense of belonging and well-being. We are doing that with each other as well. So we've just sort of transferred that scaffolding. And as you say, it may be formal or informal, and sometimes the informal is going on without labeling it. that it is
Yeah.
going on, and recognizing, oh, well, this has been happening all the time. We
Mhm.
just didn't label it as mentoring.
Yeah.
The other piece to that is if communities are looking at a more formalized program, the collaborative does a really nice job of, as Pam said, sharing those ideas and the cross-pollination. Because just as an example, one community had a great plan, but they were struggling with getting the engagement.
Hmm.
Because we all know we are stretched, and
Yeah.
everyone can really appreciate that. But we also know the value in this kind of engagement. So how do we bring them uh, to to come? And so the meeting was about, and bringing the educators along, and they learned an idea, they tried it, and it was really successful. So it's that kind of thing that we can do too.
Hmm.
So lots of conversations, lots of ideas sharing.
Yes, it sounds very process oriented. So, in terms, I mean, I feel like you've kind of touched on this, but in terms of your main goals with the group, would you be able to share a little bit about that?
The networking that happens, which has really started in southwestern Ontario and now has steamrolled across the province. And through that networking, we're building those trusting relationships where we're able to share and debate ideas and critically think about them. It allows to give us richer perspectives. So it's is that sharing of ideas. It's exploring different roles of mentorship and that broader definition. It's the looking at current research and its impact. As anybody in this sector is aware, we are in a crisis as far as having our AECEs to fulfill all the roles out there. And mentorship has been proven through research that it is a viable tool for retention of not only our sector but any sector of employment. So it's really allowing for that and engaging current ECEs to stay within the sector because they're feeling stimulated and challenged with their professional growth.
Hmm.
Barb,
Yeah.
did I miss anything?
No, I think you've covered it really well. We see it as a quality initiative,
Mhm.
and that is one of our goals, to always, ensure or try to ensure that we have quality programs.
Yeah, I'm wondering if you could speak a bit more about that retention piece. I'm really curious about that.
Mhm. I can probably speak to it best by giving you one anecdote of,
Yes, please.
our our program. We've done a few rounds. We've been doing it since 2022, and we launched a pilot. Like, let's try this. Honestly, I'm going to be the first to say I know what mentorship's supposed to look like, traditional, but
Mhm.
never in my wildest dream did I expect my learning to grow so much. But so we
Cool.
launched a pilot, and we had mentors and mentees. And one particular uh, person joined as a mentee, and she was ready to just throw in the towel. And she'd been in the field about 5 or 6 years. And she's like, I can go work at the pet store. I like animals, and I can make the same, and I'm not so stressed.
Yeah.
But she decided to give the mentorship program a try. And we asked them to create a goal and to strive to achieve the goal in their, time that they're in the program. And so she created this very simple goal. I'll meet with my partner once a week or something. I can't remember what it was, but as she progressed, she documented her whole growth and journey, and we've now used it for a tool for orientation and introduction if you're interested. The growth and the buy-in and the rebirth of her dream to be an early childhood educator. And she's still with us and participates in all of the rounds that we have. And that's just one. I can line them up for you. I can give you tons of testimonials. So that's somebody who's going to leave because they're just not feeling appreciated.
Mm.
Um, and I know, and Barbara and Terry over in York region, they can attest to the same kind of thing. When you have the forum to talk about your profession with other professionals who know and understand and are there to give you a leg up, and that encouragement and engagement makes all the difference. So it does keep people in the field.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very touching. I feel like a lot of ECEs want that recognition and want that
Mhm.
connection to other people. And this is an amazing way to have that happen.
Mhm,
We often talk, I think I often hear ECs talk about, other people in the broader public recognizing their work, not calling them babysitters and valuing what they do, but
Mhm.
to be able to begin with valuing each other and seeing each other's hard work, that's such an important place to start.
mhm, mhm,
Yeah, because that leads to us presenting ourselves in a higher light in community as well. When we're feeling good about ourselves, then we can share our stories and our importance in community from a stronger lens.
mhm.
Yeah, that confidence boost is so
Yeah.
important. So, in terms of you folks, I'm curious what has been meaningful to you about participating in the group.
Wow. A lot. I guess first off is just the connections, the relationships and friendships that have formed across the province. Fortunately, with the symposium last year, we were able to meet each other in person, which was lovely after so many virtual meetings to make that in-person connection and give those hugs. So that's been a huge part for me, and it's the opportunities to listen to so many different perspectives. In Muskoka, we are just at the beginning stages of our mentorship program. And so, having listened to these stories and experiences over the last year and a half has really helped to formulate how we move forward in our community with mentorship. And that's invaluable. So grateful for this community and how trusting they are in sharing their stories and experiences, the successes and the failures. We all know that we learn through our failures, but their willingness to share that and to share other resources that they may have to help those of us that are just beginning our journey it is so incredible.
I'm very much of the same. Uh, it's the connection, always the connection, right?
Hmm.
I very, very privileged to network and connect with people across Ontario. Um, I work and learn with them all the time. And as you said in my introduction, many, many years of experience in the field and still learning. And I think that's amazing. And it's all from people that I would have never met had we not
Yeah,
created this collaborative. So
so true.
very thankful.
I can see so much joy on both your faces. I know this is just audio, so I want the listeners to see that.
And we've been in the sector a long time and we're still very joyful and excited to
Yeah.
be a part of the sector. And that's what we want the other RECEs to feel as well.
Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
very
Yeah,
well
when you're,
said.
oh, go ahead.
I was just saying to Pam, very well said.
Yeah. Yeah. When you can see people in positions of leadership with that passion still alive, it can go a long way, right?
Mhm.
To the morale of the center and of the community. It's such an important thing that I think sometimes we don't talk about all that much. There's so many pressures on those folks to be the leaders and show up. And Yeah, for you to be able to bring that joy and passion back to your staff is so important. So I'm curious if you can share a bit about what's next for the OMC. What plans do you have in the works? Are there any? I mean, I was at your last meeting, so I feel like I know a little bit about your plans, but yeah, please share with us what's next.
Yeah, it's exciting. As the group continues to grow, so do the ideas and where we're heading. So, the most current thing that's coming up is our speaker series that we're going to be hosting with the book launch, the book called Rethinking Mentorship in Early Childhood Education. So that book has just been released in March, and we're going to be hosting a author series starting on May 14th. That will allow for the authors to speak, but also some Q&A so that anybody participating in the webinar can ask their questions directly to the authors and have some really interesting conversations. We also have a subcommittee that is now forming our next symposium. So the second one,
Wow.
yes, it's very exciting. We had the first one was a huge success, for any first time event. And I don't have the numbers off the top of my head, but there were over 300 participants for a first time event, which speaks volumes for the interest and the excitement for mentorship with the early learning sector. So we're underway with planning that one and looking at April 2027 for that one to be launched. So stay tuned for more information regarding that. Um, yeah, Barb, anything else that you can think of that's happening?
We are working on creating some type of digital footprint. That's still again in the works. As a new collaborative, we're working, steps by step. And the idea is to, have a place where there are resources that people can go, and they can see, what we're about. So that's also in the works.
Yeah.
Very
So
cool.
some exciting things on the horizon.
Yeah, absolutely. We will share registration link for the speaker series in the
Thank you.
in the description of the episode. And if folks want to, follow along or get a copy of the book, where can people sign up to sort of make sure they're up to date on what's going on?
I certainly can share the link for the book and access that. And if they want any further information or to join the collaborative, they can reach out to myself and I can add them onto the mailing list. We meet monthly. We meet monthly. Alternate months are more formalized meetings with a formalized agenda. Alternate months are what we call the chill and chat. So more of a community of practice where we're just having a more casual conversation and sharing of ideas.
That's great. Thank you so much.
I just want to say if people are interested in the work we're doing, to please don't hesitate. We are the most welcoming group. And it does consist of some service system managers, professional resource centers, um, individual programs that have a proven track record. Like there are a lot of post-secondary institutions,
Mhm.
professors that join, like
Indigenous,
Indigenous,
Francophone.
yes, thank you. So there's a lot for everyone.
Yeah, the open invitation, absolutely. And again, just gratitude to Barb for casting that stone and having that ripple effect of mentorship across the province for the early learning sector.
Thanks, Pam.
That's amazing. Well, it's been so wonderful getting to chat with you both. Thank you so much for being here, and we can't wait to see what's next and to follow along with the amazing work that you're doing. Thank you so much for joining us. If you enjoyed today's episode, please consider becoming a member. The link to join us will be in the episode description. Your membership makes a difference in the lives of ECEs and childcare workers, children and families, and allows us to continue doing this work. To all the members currently supporting us, thank you so much. To all the ECEs and childcare workers listening, you are absolutely incredible. We are in awe of you every single day.